Greetings, Star Trek Fleet Commanders. I am the Angry Rhino. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, what I'm going to do with this video, I'm going to continue with my loop prioritization video. I do think we're a little too early in this whole Xindi/X-Borg loop to kind of talk about it that much. Though I will get to it a little later. Now, I'm going to do my Armada category of this loop prioritization. Essentially, armada loops, or how armadas fit inside loops, and my ranking of prioritization. Of course, I did my notes here, took my notepad, and as soon as I, listed all the armadas and then ranked them, of course, 3 minutes later, I figured out that, well, shit, I forgot like 3 or 4 of them. Because I completely forgot about the Doomsday Armadas, and then the Old Borg Armadas, and then Territory Armadas, and Burial Armadas. So, I only got notes for 9 different Armadas, so I'm going to try to fit the other 4 in there somewhere. Alright, so I'm going to give you my ranking, and I'm going to start with the least. As far as it should be at the bottom of your prioritization list, and I'll give you some notes or reasons why I think that. Just a quick note here. Some of these armadas or armada loops, or however, don't unlock for you until a certain level, like say Dominion armadas or the Bolo armadas, or even some that you can only do with a ship, like, let's say, well, there are too many that you can only do with a ship. Maybe like a Stella or the Monavine. Maybe. You may have to wait until you do get the ship. So, if your level is too low to participate, then just ignore it on this prioritization list until you are of the appropriate level or have the appropriate ship. Alright, now, alright, so let's start with, well, Jesus, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, won't be the 9th, it will be the 13th. Ranked, because there's 13 different types of armadas. I have 9 here that I listed, but I added 4 because I forgot about them. So, the 13th on the prioritization list, 13 out of 13, don't prioritize this shit at all, are Swarmadas. I said, not even worth doing. The skin, yes, there is an event. Do Swarm Armadas. You can get the skin for the Franklin. The skin's only good against the Armadas. Okay, so where is the benefit of doing the Armadas? Well, really only the benefit is Jayla. And one, the sourcing, even doing these Armadas, isn't that good. These Armadas do cost regular rare credits. Oh, I'm not even in like range. Right, I'm sorry, I said credits. Doing a Becca thing here. Rare directives, your regular rare directives, it's not worth it because, 1, because you're just not going to get that many Jayla shards, and 2, what do you need Jayla for? What, killing swarms? No, you don't. Trust me, you don't. Because I was killing swarms up to level 32, level 32 of the swarm, so I guess level 34 for me, without a Franklin and without Jayla. So that can be done. Really, the only levels that you can potentially say may get some use out of Jayla and or the Franklin is between 35 and 38. Because at 38, you can do the swarm sweep, so you can just go kill freebooters. So what do you need Jayla for? You don't need to go kill swarms. You can go kill freebooters and knock out your swarm and your freebooter loop at the same time. So you should probably do that. How long are you going to be sitting between 35, 36, or 37? How long are you going to be sitting there? You shouldn't be sitting there that long. You really shouldn't be. A month, maybe 2. So just don't do swarms for that month or 2. Because why? Then you spend all this currency to get Jayla, and she's only good for a few levels. The worth just isn't there. All right, so let's move on to number 12. I think Burial should be up. Mega Q, so... Worm. Let's go with the Worm Armada, the Doomsday Armadas. If I can remember where these dumbass things are. Over here. They're in a few different locations. You can tell because the systems here, they have an orange cloud. Swarm systems have like a pinkish cloud. These Worm systems have like an orangish cloud. And the systems with the Armadas have a little Armada symbol. Can't really zoom in any further than that. But this little symbol, Berthier symbol, and then 50, this little symbol in here, that is the symbol for an Armada. And yes, obviously for the background I'm choosing to have you look at the Armadas. Seriously? There you go. What the hell taking so long there? But okay. Oh wait, alright. Didn't have the screen resized right. And here the rewards here, you get these salvage parts. The problem is there's no refinery for this. It was event based solely. So what's the point of getting these rewards? There's no point because they don't run the event anymore. Because we hated it. There's just no point. Also, these dumbass... Jesus Christ. So really 200? Wow. And a different fancy-ass directive, which was no sourcing except for events or packs. So, you know, it was event exclusive, and they just didn't do it. So, useless. Don't do them anymore either. Okay, so let's go with the Mega Cube one. So what are we on now? 11? Yeah, we're on 11. 11 out of 30. Where are the Mega Cube? The Mega Cubes are over this way somewhere. Now, I'm lumping all these the uncommon and the rare and the epic Borg cubes in here with the Mega Cube itself, which these three systems are the Mega Cube. Now, there is some use there. The problem is the sourcing isn't great. PC client really is kind of slow. I don't know if it's my PC or if it's on them. Sourcing's not great, especially for these Mega Cubes. It's just, well, you know, unless you buy it, you know, you're not really getting, you're not going to get many directives. So what's the point? But because they have shown some consistency in running the Return of the Mega Cube event, it does warrant a mention anyway on this list. One, it is in an Armada. Two, there is some use, but it is once a month. Maybe for maybe a 1 day span, because there is an event for it. And you do like the rewards for the event, or at least you should, in my opinion, like the rewards for that Return of the Mega Cube event, because it can unlock you Locutus Fleet Commander and some of the Borg officers, harder to source Borg officers like, say, Borg Queen, Dazak, and Goza. The rewards for killing these portions of the Mega Cube are active nanoprobes, which are, you do need them, but the sourcing elsewhere is pretty good. So, because of the limited run of the event itself and the hardness to get the directives, just it's got to be pretty low on the list. And because some of the rewards, you know, can be gotten elsewhere. So what do we got? Burial. I'm going to go with Territory Armadas. Territory Armadas really going to depend somewhat on you and maybe your level. If you are a lower level, getting several thousand of this raw is going to benefit you. If you're a 50-something like me, I don't give a shit because I can mine 18,000 in 30 seconds. What am I doing an armada for? I don't care. But, you know, there is a little bit of use there for it. And some kind of event comes up. They were running more because of this territory capture season came around. So there is a little bit of use there. But at the same time, if you are a lower level player and you don't have highly tiered meridians, there's a lot of benefit here for getting this raw isogen. But again, it's not benefiting that many players, so it's got to be low on the list. What was that, 11th? Or is that 10th? That would have been 10th. Right, so I'm not going to make note of this shit now. Alright, so let's make Swarm 13. Worms were 12. Megacube was 11. Territory was 10. Burial armadas are going to be 9. Alright, let's see. We'll go find these. Now, the burial armadas, they are old. Where the... Oh, okay. Oopsie. Don't look at my desktop. Private stuff on there. Find... We're here somewhere. There's a system. Here it is. Burial armadas. Now there's really are a few uses here. One, with some of these armada events, and there are some frequent armada events, it does come with using directives. Or really, I guess it's winning an uncommon. These technically, in a lot of these events, count as winning an uncommon, but you can see they're much cheaper than a regular uncommon. So there is some benefit there. You can potentially get more points with less directives. And for those of you that are still using your discovery, it is more of a lower level thing. I guess maybe not. Maybe a lower mid-level. Because you get into the 50s and the warp range it's just not there for the discovery. So I don't have any use for it. But again, I mean, there is some use, I guess. It's just, it's less use. So I got at least 100,000 jump juice. Haven't refined this shit in so long. But, and since I was around for when this arc dropped, a lot of these rare mycelium spores were handed out between event rewards and, since the discovery technically, I guess, has a shippability of a mining, passive ability, I guess, not the active ability. Active ability would be summoning. Passive ability is increase speed at mining spores. I don't need to do these armadas to get these spores. Now, yes, you can mine with the discovery, but the nodes are kind of small. But you can see here, killing one of these armada will get you 3,700. Think about with all the loot crews and whatnot. Running these armadas is a good source of the raw jump juice. You take the raw jump juice and you refine it for jump juice. Making any sense there. So there is some benefit, but it is relatively small and it's really a one use. Or fuels a one-trick pony, I guess. I mean, it's a great trick, but you will outgrow it. So it only deserves number 9. All right, let's go more focusing on the notes here. Cardassian armadas are number 8 on my list. Where the hell are they at? They're somewhere. Oh, wait, they're here. Alright, this is the systems for the Cardassian armadas. Over here to the left of Federation space. The loop can be done relatively quickly. It is a different kind of currency. Same directives as, like you say, your faction directives. But the currency is a little different. It's Cardassian loot or something stupid. And different refinery options. Really, it's going to fuel your Starbase research tree. Now, there's a few good researches in the Starbase tree. Armada loot based ones, they're pretty good. Territory research efficiency, that's okay. There's way too many assault researches in there, mostly because we don't care about assaults. So it just doesn't get that high on my list. Plus, check out some of the numbers on these systems. Look, there's a lot of low numbers here. And then you start to get bigger. You come over to 45, there's 245 systems, and then there's 150 system. You know? So that kind of makes it not worth doing. One, it does seem that the people created this planned on you being done around this time. Well, alright, so what do I got? Some semi-nice research in the Starbase tree, heavily level locked, which really pisses me off. A lot of level locks on that research, and I think there's far too many level locks on that research. While some of it is good, who gives a shit if you can't even do it? You can get enough relatively easily. I do find it relatively easy to get the currency, and I've found it relatively easy this whole time. Now, that's going to depend on you. Now, Picard Beverly Gala is the best option here. Okay, I'm sorry. Not for the rare and the epics, but for the uncommons, it's going to be the best option. For the rare and the epics, you're going to want regular Armada crews. Maybe some person bring a Troy as captain, but that's really for another video that hopefully I've explained already, tactics in doing it. But again, I do think the currency is relatively easy to get. And some of the turn-in, it's not just for the research, it is for the Starbase. And the Starbase kind of, I think the grind's kind of slow because you got to mine a bunch of dumb shit with your Starbase. Who the hell wants to do that? So some of the researchers are locked on your Starbase and certain modules of your Starbase, which just never really took off, mostly because you had to mine a whole bunch of dumb shit, 3 different dumbass currencies with your dumbass Starbase. Who the hell wants to do that? However, alright. Moving on to number 7. Cardassians were number 8. Number 7 is going to be Monavine. We're going to go back up to... Where the hell are you? Okay, here you are. Yeah. These Monavine systems. Remember, they look like a cowboy hat. Should be in just about every one of these systems up here. And they're called Shipyard Armadas. Automated Shipyard Armadas. They are Dallas, Texas class, or whoever. The only thing you get in the chest pool is materials. I mean, materials they're nice. I mean, you want materials, sure. All right, where do I go down here on my list? Material chest claim. It's really not that good until you start getting up to, I want to say, Monavine tier 7, maybe. Just in my opinion, it just doesn't give you that many materials. And it's only a 3-day pull. You can only pull one every 3 days. It is a nice bit of extra refining for materials. It's just not enough. Waves. Waves is number 6. And remember, I consider Waves to be a Armada. Where the hell are you? Right here, north of territory space. There are 2 different types of waves. There's the level 30 systems. There's the level 50 systems. You're going to get a lot more rewards from the level 50 systems, but they're going to be much harder. Level 40 systems are a little easier, and not really for every player. Technically, every player, is it 25, I guess? I honestly don't even remember what level you start getting the little directives. I call them directives. I don't know why they don't call them directives, but however, at what level you start getting those directives. But, I mean, you put 538s in here in a wave, you're just not going to get very far. You're not. What's maybe 5? So, it really isn't. Now, by all means, let's get a 38 or 2 in here with a bunch of 56s and higher, and you have a really good shot at getting a wave 10. Because you can help. You can take care of all these survey ships. Makes our job easier. Because even with 3 big players, they can take 1 leg apiece and have a pretty good chance of getting them all. Assuming they are high enough. So, yeah, you can carry some of these lower level players. But, like I'm saying, it's not exactly meant for you. So you're not meant to do it on your own, and you probably can't do it with a large group of you. Now, the idea is everybody isn't supposed to get through wave 10, but you do get more rewards. You get more wave credits, or whatever the hell they're called. Section 31 credits, or whatever dumb things are called. Now, what do you go turn them in for? Well, reputation in the Section 31 faction. Well, what does the reputation get you? Unlock certain level of favors, which are only good in waves, except for the Armada speed up, which I haven't even messed with yet because I guess I'm pissed off that it took them so long. So I don't really care. And what is the reputation? It's certain unlocks of certain claims. There are several officers. Well, let me go in here. And you can see some of the benefits here. You see there are some claims I can't get, like the Defiant refit unlocks at Handler, Godu Katwayun, Strike Team Lon, also unlock at Handler, and Carol Freeman unlocks at Spy Master. But you can see all the stuff in here. Sure, there's some faction reputation and other refits and Syndicate XP, which is nice. There are other places to get some of the Syndicate XP and this reputation, so it's not Prime Dolomite Particles is nice. It is only 10 a day, which is kind of lame. And what else do I have written here? PvP officer sourcing and fleet commander. Oh, Sloan is a good choice here. And PvP officers. But the downside is, I mean, if you're relatively low, you getting, 3 or maybe 5, if you got enough credits for these PvP officers a day, you're going to be behind everybody else. So, it's really doing that much for you? Depends on your server, depends on what other kind of players are out there that you PvP with. Because if they're already so far ahead of you, this isn't necessarily helping you catch up. I mean, it could. There is potential. Again, the situation is going to dictate. All right, but let's move on. Number 5 is Stella. Now, back in my day, at the top of the line here, this warpath, these systems didn't exist. We had like Lindstrom, Midge, and Carpathian were like the biggest ones, and it's much better now. There are a few pretty good researchers in there, especially for you, let's say, low spend folks. Crystal or gas research and building efficiency is very nice. It's going to be very useful to you because less of those materials that you have to spend is always going to be better. What else I have written down here? There are a bunch of officer shards. Now, officers aren't that useful, though Skinny mud can be really useful for you in fighting some of the capital traders. Maybe you say Eurydice is useful during some Dominion armadas, which there is potential there. So, but honestly, I think you do, as far as the daily pull for the officer shards, I think it's a nice amount. Because even though I have all those officers max, I can get between 1 and 2,000 transporter patterns a day, which it's not bad. It's really not that bad, because I know it's another officer shard from somebody else that I don't have yet. Badges, mainly centered around the Apex event. Officer badges, not a lot of good sourcing for officer badges, so something you're going to need to promote your officers. There can be some ship parts and some materials when you eventually get the the Borg Stella skin. Can get a little bit more ship parts and materials, but that is really for at the end of this Stella, because you got to scrap your Stella and get Stella particles and do some of the Stella research. To a certain extent, there was some fun with the Stella. Now, I do think steps have been taken recently to make that process go a little faster, and then therefore be even a little more fun. But again, in my day, it was slow going there for a while, and it really wasn't that fun unless you spent money on it, which I know people did, and honestly, there can be a lot of enjoyment with the Stellar Armadas. They were very quick Armadas. It was kind of fun seeing all your ships shoot all these shots and do big damage. It's fun, sure. While we're all here, blowing shit up with pixel spaceships. But again, the loop was pretty slow, and it is relatively closed, but that doesn't mean that there isn't a lot of enjoyment here. Alright, Stella was number 5. Let's go to number 4. Where the hell are you at? Formation Armadas. Where the... God damn it, I did it again. Formation Armadas. Oh, over here. Alright, so there are rare around this green spinny thing. I'm not going to talk specifically about them. These Formation Armadas are their own set of directives, and you have to, well, I guess you don't have to, but you're going to want to take down all 3 of these legs of this armada to get the bigger rewards. Now, I don't think it's that fun of a mechanic, but really what you need, well, yeah, I mean, it's just preparing. What are you preparing for? Just go. Yeah, I don't know if it's them or me. Come in here to this artifact gallery. Slow again. That's really what the main focus of the Formation Armada is. Really, both Formation Armadas. The rare ones are more isolytic based artifacts, and the non-isolytic based artifacts are what you're going to get from the uncommons. There's a lot of nice artifacts in here. Do very good things for you, like hull boost and shield boost, damage boost, piercing boost, research, cost efficiency and speed, component efficiency and cost, and isolytic damage and isolytic defense. All can be very useful for you in PvP and PvE against armadas and hostiles. But it is somewhat new and it is somewhat slow going. You see which ones I have maxed. The ones centered around Voyager. Do your Voyager claims, and that's really where I'm getting all these max ones from. The rest of them, slow sourcing of the directives. So, but there is a lot of use there. What the hell button am I hitting? Oh. To block that out. Where the hell am I going next? Oh, Bolos. Bolos is 3. You're over here. Somewhere over the rainbow. There you go. Here you go. Big Bolos. This is a system I'm going into. Now, big reward here for the Bolos or Borg Solo Armadas. Bolos. It's going to be Fleet Commander currency. Lots and lots of Fleet Commander currency. Not really SP, but everything else. And lots of Borg Borg officers. Some of the older Borg officers, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Of 11. Good sourcing for them, as well as the new Borg officers. Like, well, I guess it's really not good sourcing for Borg Queen, Dazak, and Goza because they're in these dumb. Oh, there's not even a super duper cube. What are the dumb things that go with this? I don't even remember what dumbass armadas they are. I hate them. But there's another stupid ass set of armadas that go over with that expansion cube. There's that shit. I forgot about the expansion cube shit. Oh, I hate that shit. Because it's a pain in the ass. You got to get the exocom by killing this shit instead of just activating, which is stupid. It pisses me off. I barely do it. But I do like the Bolos. Hugh is one of the greatest hostile grinders in this game. Now, yes, it doesn't really work well with the Zindies, but whatever. Stupid bullshit. And again, it goes with the Return of the Mega Cube event. Events for doing Armadas, you're going to get a lot more points for doing these Bolos than doing the other stupid ass original cube bullshit thing. But what that can fuel for you is cutest Fleet Commander. You get him for free. Free to play Fleet Commander is relatively good. And again, more Borg Queen, Dazak, Goza, Shards can be beneficial for you there. I run shit tons of those every time that mission, that event comes up. Check out my Bolo credits here. So yeah, I run a shit ton of those Bolos for 2 or 3 days, a month, or maybe every other month. And that's the only time I do them now. You can get to a point there. Some of that does rely on the Vidar Talios, you getting that up. A lot of benefit from the Vidar Talios, killing the Bolos here. Bolos were number 3. Let's go to Dominion. Here you go. Dominion Armadas, a whole nother set of credits and directives, which is very nice. Not really, but however. Going to the faction store, since it's got a lot of faction store ties here. Really where a lot of the benefit lies. Trade XP, you can get a lot of trade XP in here. If you can see. Now, I haven't done these solos in a long time. I've been triple chest pulling. Now, I do get a little more because I am a higher level, but you get a lot of trade XP and a good amount of ultra recruit tokens too. But I think probably the best reward out of here, and it's probably going to sound like it's not that much of a reward, but Benjamin Sisko and Miles O'Brien are the best Armada tandem, hands down in the game. Any Armadas, so far anyway. You have mitigation and crit chance from Sisko and extra shots from O'Brien. And if you remember how O'Brien goes, he has a chance to proc every round. It's only 50%, but it's going to last for 3 rounds. So if you're lucky enough, you get him to pop for 3 rounds. How many extra shots you doing? Lots of extra shots. And with Sisko, good chance they're going to be critical hits. There's a lot of benefit there, because how is this Armada loop fueling all your other Armada loops? Well, it's going to fuel it a lot because you're going to have really good officer combo to kill all these Armadas. A lot of benefit there. And I mean, there's some other benefit. You have some of these material token claims, some from the edicts. I mean, not some from the edicts, the diplomacy tokens, and then some from the Bajoran credits. You can get some, get some more current materials and shit. It's nice here. Okay, I have all the Bajoran favors, but there's a lot of good Bajoran favors in here. Increases your refinery payouts. The critical damages, that wasn't really that good against daily claim syndicate XP and your daily chest. What was some of the other shit? More ultra recruit tokens, more shield health, hull health, weapon damage, cost efficiency for buildings. A lot of good things in that loop. Alright, and Dominion was number 2. What's number 1? Well, da 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 da. Action Armadas! Finally, long video. You see why I broke this up. Imagine trying to talk about everything else in this damn video. Yeah, probably should have broken up the Armada video. But, because I forgot so many. However, see, right here on the screen, and I just sent this ship in here, and it did it for me. I got an uncommon, a rare, and an epic in the screen here. I guess throughout all of your levels, I think, really. Of course, I'm only 56, so I'm not, I don't know about the end game. But a lot of nice things coming in these Armada chests. How do you get these Armada chests? Well, you got to kill the Armadas. You get uncommon Armada credits, rare credits, epic credits. Everything from officer XP to ship parts to materials to officers, badges, ship blueprints, faction credit. A lot of benefit there, especially with these G5 Armadas. Now, I understand not many of you can get there, but to a certain extent, once you unlock Dark Space, if you can get there, you can run the Armada. Now, the idea there is, if you are a level 40 player, don't just run, the teeny tiny Armada. Find somebody in your alliance that's big, like, say, me, and just say, hey, Rhino, can you carry me? I want to run this big-ass rare or something. Yeah. Because the leadership chest is going to be so much bigger than whatever you would get if you're running a small Armada. More Armada credit. A little too many credits to keep track of, More Armada credit is going to mean more rewards from these Armada chests. Oh, the rare tactical cores. That's another thing. And how most of these other Armada loops go is based off the Armada Control Center. At certain levels of the Armada Control Center, you're going to get a 3rd seat, or a 4th seat, a 5th seat, a 6th seat, a 7th seat. And then therefore more power into your Armada being able to kill bigger Armadas. So there's a benefit there. That is a relatively closed loop. It really is only a benefit for the Armada loop itself. But at the same time, it's not just about faction credit, which getting lots of faction credit is going to help you progress in your basic gameplay. Because that's how you get all these ships. Most of them anyway. Some of these new specialty ships are getting kind of big and can kind of carry you in certain areas. But these faction ships get really big. And they get really expensive. Well, Armada chests is where you're going to get a large portion of your faction credit. That's how I was able to get 2 rares. You haven't seen my faction credit recently. How long ago was that I got these 2 ships? I'm already back up to 1.1 million Romulan credits. How do you think I did that? The Armadas. Same for Klingon. So I spent 1 million credits for each ship. Spent 2 million credits. And I'm already back up to 2 million. That's how good some of those Armada chests really are. And again, what did that fuel for me? Bigger faction ships. It's allowing me to actually handle the Zindi loop a little bit better than maybe some of you are. All right, getting a little long-winded here. So let's wrap this up. Summarize this. Try to remember my listing here. All right, so this was me running down my list, and it'll be in a really long video. Loop prioritization series, the Armada category. Number 1 for me was faction armadas. Number 2, Dominion armadas. 3 was Bolo armadas. 4 was formation armadas. 5, Stellar armadas. 6, waves. 7, the Monavine shipyard armadas, or whatever the hell they're called. 8 was Cardassian armadas. 9 was burial armadas. 10, territory armadas. 11, Mega Cube armadas, the original Borg armadas. 12 was the worm armadas. And last but not least, 13 was the swarm. Whew. 1 obviously being where I feel you should put the most of your effort, and 13 being where I think you should put little to no effort. Some of this is going to depend on you as a player. Yes, some of these Armada loops are going to be locked to you if you are too low of a level. Well, if you're going off my list, just ignore that part of it until you are the level. And you can kind of, recreate your list off of that. But really, it boils down to, I think faction armadas have to be number 1 because of the amount of faction credit you can get from doing these. That's how you're going to get these faction ships. Some of these specialty ships, they look like they can carry you in certain spots, but in other spots, they're just not going to be good enough. So, faction armada's got to be up there. And maybe it's more nostalgia for me because it's one of the oldest, I guess it is the oldest Armada loop there is. This is the first one. So, all right, comment below if you can remember my list, if you got through this much of the video. Do you agree with where I placed some of these armadas? At certain points, like, I'd switch your 4 and 5. Some of them are interchangeable like that, but some of the drastic changes, I guess. And do you agree that faction armadas should be the thing you prioritize the most, or the armada that you prioritize the most? I'm out of breath talking so much. Be sure to like and subscribe. I am the Angry Rhino. Shields up, Commanders.